My name is Wendy Stevens, and I've been living with HIV since 2006. I'm also a recovering addict and former sex trade worker. I was doing the heroin for a little while, and then all of a sudden the heroin was doing me. I came to Vancouver in 1999 to get into recovery. Then one night I decided to go and get some dope in the downtown east side, and that relapse lasted about 7 years. That's when I started working in the sex trade. I'm a survivor of Robert Pickton. I was allowed to leave for some reason. I don't know why.
I'm Raymond. I'm HIV positive. I've been in and out of prison for the past 30 years. I was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. I started getting in trouble around the age of 12 years old. I was starting to be physically, sexually abused, and I started experimenting with drugs and alcohol and acting out. Started going to foster homes and group homes, and then to juvie.
In 2006, I met someone who was a recovering addict. It was really nice to just have somewhere to live and do normal things. So I went one day to pick up my methadone prescription, and I had done some blood work previously, and the doctor asked me if I was feeling suicidal that day. He then said to me, "Were you aware that you have HIV?" And I said, "Oh, no, I don't have HIV, I have Hep C." And he showed me a piece of paper and he said, "No, look right there, that means that you have HIV." I thought I had a choice of getting on a bus back to where I had been staying, or a bus going back to the downtown east side. I waited and got on the bus back to the downtown east side and went right to work on the corner to get some dope. My partner came down and found me, and I told him, and he decided he wanted to stay together.
I was just turning 19, did a short stay in Ocala, and Fraser Correction Center had just opened. 6 months later, I was off to Matsquit with a 5-year sentence. And it was there that I got introduced to intravenous drug use. While I was back in prison, they called me down to healthcare and told me that I was HIV positive. I was only about 26 years old or so at that time. I thought life was hopeless. I tried to overdose. I was arrested again and I was sent back. And while I was back at Matsquit, I was introduced to the prison outreach team. They would educate me on HIV. So I got involved with the HIV group that was in Matsquit, trying to educate other people. I also started getting escorted absences to come to the monthly board meetings here. When I did come out of prison, I would get connected to support groups that were going on in the community. I was with a woman, and we would always have protected sex, and she really wanted a child. She tested positive, and during that time she got pregnant, and then we had fears of the child would be infected. The mother was retested, and it turned out the mother didn't have HIV, nor does the baby. The joy of having her was just amazing. It gave me a strong sense of hope.
A year or so after my diagnosis, my partner started to come to Positive Living. He wanted to start volunteering, so I kind of tagged along. So we both got volunteer positions. Finding out that I wasn't alone in my fears. Other people had had those fears before. I finally warmed up to going on meds. We have doctors, health nurses. Those people have avenues to find us to get to the people who need to come here and access state-of-the-art dental clinic, acupuncture, massage, hairstylists, and clothing room. We have a women's lounge now. PWN unfortunately closed and has left a really big void.
It's been just over a year completely sober because I want to be a responsible father to my child. Part of it, what's keeping me sober, is the supports from Prison Outreach, Positive Haven in Surrey, my AA group. The support, the friendships I've made with the staff have been very helpful to me.
as a peer navigator if someone is newly diagnosed or re-engaging in care, whether you are in the darkest depths of addiction or sex trade or abuse or trauma. My support for you is unconditional.